peace, power, and love sent from above, below, and all in between. Blackanized International Nubian Conscious Chess Moves once again, hosted by Humam Abdulmalik. Motivating, stimulating, and agitating those of us who need to become mentally free and spiritually free in this quagmire, deceptive maze that we find ourselves to be in. Even though for some we be amazed, and for some of us it's a work in progress. For some of us it's a divine test to overcome the detrimental situations or circumstances that we be finding ourselves in, from a holistic perspective of being a village, a community, of people in unity, to uplift ourselves out of this quagmire, to walk to the light of understanding of the divine essence and the blessings of our ancestors that we can never let go or forget. We made it this far to be standing as we are, to develop infrastructure based on organization and unification of all the signs and guideposts that were left us by our ancestors and by those who are among us now in a position of leadership. Leadership of the people, for the people, through the people. In this non-violent revolution of evolutionary process of purifying ourselves as a people to come together under these circumstances in this political paradigm that we're in. And everything, all the cards are on the table. Because there ain't nothing we don't know about these people and this system and what they do and what they have done and what they're trying to do. Not what they're trying to do, what they have in the process to keep us in a state of mind and of debilitation, to be in a position of being having subservient mentality. And those of us that maybe sometimes be successful, be given the key to go through the door, to sign the contract, to be a certain way, live a certain way, make a certain amount of money and all that. You have to sell your soul and become so egotistical and self-serving and arrogant that it's just a deterrent against your own self, against your own soul, because you haven't grown within your natural proclivity or culture or spirituality. You've been manipulated and socially engineered to be a certain way, like under robot control. Those who are not aware of what's happening to them by the social engineering on all levels, eugenics, or just stimuli to have you act a certain way to be a deterrent in your community, to dwell in your animalistic nature, predatorial nature, and don't rise up into divine nature in this temple. And it's sometimes disheartening to be in this environment, in this realm, and in this dimension with all these wise brothers and sisters and intelligent brothers and sisters, culture conscious, and be separated like we are. Because everybody might have a key, or hold a key or part of the puzzle, but you can't keep the puzzle to yourself, your piece of the puzzle to yourself, without putting it on the board, to making the picture whole, making the puzzle come together. And that's what we call unity. It'd be like we don't come together for all this knowledge and wisdom and understanding. They got it somehow or another where we won't come together. It's like we under hypnosis and some type of psychosis that they got us under. I don't know if it's in the air, the food, the water, or what. But we need to overcome that. We need to come back to our reality. Because it creates a lot of fatalities in our community. And it's not just locally, it's nationally. Not just nationally, it's globally. Because the same hand is the same hand all over the globe. The social narcotics, white supremacy, and institutionalized racism. I was reading something early this morning. A doctor said that he put out that thing about the Willie Lynch syndrome, that it wasn't true or whatever, he made it up and all that. I know a long time ago I read that too, that the Ku Klux Klan didn't put that out, or that it wasn't about that slave master and all that. Therefore, however it is, those conditions that was talked about in that trustee, I'll say, or discourse, was and is, if not taken on mentally or spiritually because of that, to be programmed by that or whatever, the actions of the people parlayed into those words, whether true or not, it had us acting out without that discourse, without that at all. I forgot what year it was that it came out, that I first seen it. It was some years, I think it was in the 90s or something, when I first seen it. But without that, what we went through as a people portrays those very words in that. And I don't understand why, in the way I do, to motivate, stimulate, or agitate, or whatever, but then to wait to this time, a period of time, say it ain't true or whatever, whatever the reason behind that. But we are not no yo-yos or none of that. And we can't go through, ins and outs, ups and downs and all that. We got to move straight forward, no matter what. We know that racism and classism exist in this society. We know what we've been through historically. We know that. But we are still here as a people, strong, standing up. A lot of us are drug-free, crime-free, and all that. A lot of us are so conscious and intelligent, it's this overwhelming. I be listening to some brothers and sisters, and man, I don't know why we ain't together, why we don't even have our own piece of land now that we can protect and defend, other than Akabu land, that we really need to get those brothers over there together so that they can take their land back and control all those resources in those 53 countries over there. And over here in this domain, this minimum prison, we need to establish ourselves here economically, educationally, academically, spiritually, holistically, as a group of people come together, whatever we practice. I listened to a brother yesterday also, very deep and all that. But he said something, he got to show them people, the Kemetic people, community or whatever, and it's unnecessary for us to attack each other or be better than each other when we can just come together. Come together in unity, man. Well, we practice. Let's come together as a people, uplift everybody at one. I mean, the Christian, Muslim, Jew, and come together. Come together in unity and love and respect of one another. If you want to worship how you worship and have that understanding until you come to the true understanding, not saying that my understanding is true, but it is of a divine spiritual nature. And I know that my body is my temple and this and that. And I know that I got to go back to spiritual, African spirituality to deal with me as a human being. I know that truth is simplistic and it's natural. I know that I can't take on nobody else's identity, nobody culture, because it ain't going to sit well with my nature. And then all these unnatural activities that they promote is not conducive for our growth as a people. It's part of eugenics. Eugenics is like almost like population control. It's not almost like, it is. It's population control with those of soul like us. It's like everything that's happening, the body parts and the melanin and the sex rings and the blood sacrifices, all that is a big business by those who take it as a business, but some people survive off that. We got to realize the truth of that and know that they will say that people who think of like the Illuminati, 13 families, the Carball states, and America being a corporation of England and all that, you know, they are conspiracy theorists. If that was so, then tell me what part of the government do the RIS work for? Tell me what part of the government who the Federal Reserve work for. Tell me what part of the government do the FBI work for. Tell me what part of the government do the CIA work for. Tell me those things. Tell me that they're not private businesses or corporations. Tell me that. Tell me that it's a law, I think in 1871 or something like that, that America is not a corporation of England. Tell me that in the fraudulent laws that be. Tell me that the money that the Federal Reserve make every day is worthless. There's nothing to back it up, no minerals or anything. It's a fiat note, a promissory note. But we are in this state of hypnosis, but we use it every day. We got to use it because that's the way it's set up. That's the game that they play within this system. And we caught in the system. We stagnated in the system because we accept the system. We've been programmed in the system. Like we part of the mainframe. You know, and we got to come out of that program. We got to become who we got to be, it's an evolutionary process that we got to go through as a people to develop our divine nature and go back to what we are, who we are. We can't get caught up in the immediate gratifications and the sensations of the manipulations of our bodies and things like that. We have to be foremost in the loving nature of ourselves and our people. That's the only way we're going to come out of this paradigm, to have us separated. It's like we be on a carousel chasing our tail, or we be on the Goebbels treadmill going in circles. A lot of us, they get the key to open the door to go into financial stability or financial freedom. But we signed a contract, or they signed a contract. You can't tell the secrets, because if you tell the secrets, you might get eliminated or whatever. We got stories of that. Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Malcolm X. Not saying Malcolm X or Martin Luther King sold their soul, but when they started telling the truth, they took them out. They even took a couple of their own out a long time ago. John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy during our time. Then in the so-called time that so-called brothers supposed to did the Emancipation Proclamation, they even took him out. Old Abe Lincoln. That's what they do. See, it's like based on that Roman Empire. You know how they took out all the emperors back then. Claudius Caesar and all them. They just came and assassinated them. The same thing go on. That I guess that comes with the power and these warmongers or this system. You know, it's like it's so disheartening. I just want to say one more thing, too, about our missing children and the facets of our missing children. At first, I wasn't hearing nothing about this thing, man. Now it got national attention. I mean, as far as Washington, D.C., but I wasn't hearing anything about it years ago. I know at least 3 or 4 years ago, I used to be saying something about it. Not, I was talking about 800,000 missing children. And I was talking about body parts and melanin. And I really wasn't talking about the sex range, but that was part of it. But it was like nationally or globally that I was speaking about it. Then it hit home, right? I was saying, man, it ain't never happened in Washington like that. What's going on? Then every day, one or two will be missing, all the way up to this point. But as like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, it wasn't getting no media coverage, no nothing that was going on. It was happening. Then somebody cut on a switch, like cutting on a light. And there's national news about, even entertainers are talking about it. I seen something about Nas was talking about the problem in D.C. Nas on CNN. And then another thing, my sister was saying yesterday at a little demonstration that they had with Brother Marcus Bachelor, and Brother Henderson and Miss Harris. And she was saying some good things, which is true. Like I said, I ain't hear nothing about it. I didn't know a whole lot of organizations existed, like all of a sudden they pop up. I mean, it's like somebody put some cheese out there and all the mouses and rats and everything, not calling them, this is symbolic of saying, putting something out there, then everybody come out. It was like, man. So this been going on for a time that people knew and all this, because they had houses, safe houses and this and that, which is good, but that's for runaways and stuff like that. They combining a lot of stuff into the bigger picture, which is good. And it is good because it's happening right here in our backyard. But it has to be from the heart that we deal with this problem. It has to be for love, that these are our children. And then another aspect of this thing, this foster home stuff, and people be putting their children up, or they already in a situation to go to foster care. And a lot of times, not all the times, they go into bad situations, or if they don't go to a bad situation, they go into a situation where it might be non-culturally binding. I'll say that in that way, or say they little African Americans or black children go into a setting of Europeans. Then, not on top of that, they be homosexual Europeans, either 2 men or 2 women, be bringing up our children. To me, that's a form of eugenics or a form of population control, and no telling what they're being taught or how they're being taught, but they be saying two people of the same sex. One is male, one is female. I mean, both of them male or both of them female, but one be saying daddy and mama, but it's two females, and one of the females be calling herself daddy, and the other be mommy. And if it's in the male category, one of them be saying mommy and the other one be saying daddy, or husband and wife and all that. How does that play on the mentality, the spirituality of the young children to be coming up in that setting? But it's all right. It's cool now because this is what's being promoted. It's being promoted in the cartoons Saturday morning, or the cartoons they have on TV at night, in the comedy shows and everything. I'm talking about on TV shows. They got so bad now they even cuss on TV, man. That wasn't going on when I was coming up. So what are we gonna do about it? Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, even Mayweather. People with that type of money, I ain't even gonna mention Jordan, but if he ever come around, what are you gonna do about it if you ever come around? Jordan, Bill Cosby, they try to take you down, even though they say you. I'll say also that on this information that you part of the boule, but what you said and what you trying to do is like, man, you be black too. But I'm just saying, all those people with that type of money, why we can't build what we need to build as far as institutions. I know you probably did something, or people say, man, they did this and they did that. They can do more with what they got, and it won't even hurt them. Instead of Oprah always giving all them Europeans those things. You do stuff for blacks too, but it's like you can do more. We all can do more. Even us, or I say me, even I can do more. But what I do this every day since I've been doing it, since I started doing it. I do it every day to motivate, stimulate, and agitate. And the truth that I know I speak, from the knowledge that I gain, from what my ancestors left for me to maintain and sustain, to grow and develop as in African spirituality, and knowledge of what's really going on, and don't bite my tongue. My sister Frances Cress Wilson, the ISIS paper. I can't go against that knowledge, the essence of it. Ivan Van Sertin, we came before Columbus. I can't go against that knowledge. A.J. Rogers, from man to Superman. I can't go against that knowledge. I can't go against the knowledge of knowing that we are the greatest people on this planet Earth, that we've been manipulated and programmed and from birth through social narcotics. They use every method to bring us down, to kill us, to destroy us. Injections of diseases, supposed to be vaccinations for our health, but it's vaccination to destroy our wealth, our lineal wealth, to keep our nation from growing and at bay. Because they know who we are better than we know who we are ourselves. They know that the energy of the Creator is in our temples, our bodies. They know that the universe will have a profound effect upon the universe if we just open our eyes, open our mind, and go back to ancient times to have an effect on this now and mold and shape the future and understand who truly the Creator is and what the Creator is. And understand that the creation of the God and devil is a manipulation to know fully that divide and conquer methodology starts with what we give ourselves to. When we give ourselves to the concept of the Creator in the halls of our study, whichever hall we be in, That be Christianity, that be Islam, that be Judaism or whatever. But we've been manipulated as a people to not come together. It's for disunity, not unity. So how can a whole group of us be over in this corner and on this team and another one on this team, and we're against each other, but we are the same color, the same hue, but we against each other for the concept that we choose to follow? When the concept should bringing us together, if it's only, not F, it's only one creator. There's only one star, one beginning that always was and always will be. If it's like that, then unity's supposed to be. And that's where it's at, is in the unification of us, so we can come together and develop and protect our communities. So we won't be having what's going on now, this total disarray of how we going to deal with this parade of our missing children for whatever it be. That they got so bold now, so bold. They coming in Ward 8, or they've been in Ward 8, or our children becoming so frustrated of being in circumstances and situations that is not healthy for them. Whatever it is, we as a community got to deal with it. We got to deal with it from love first and foremost, as the protectors in our community. And not only dealing with that situation, which is a bigger situation based on body parts and those sex rings or whatever, or blood sacrifices or whatever, melanin, but we know it exists. And now, what are we going to do about it? Especially in our community right here, in our community, in our back door, in our front door, in our homes, in our next door to us, our neighbors. It started here first. Then we can branch off and deal with the government. Then we can branch off and deal with these organizations. But we are the first line of defense. We got to catch it before it get to that level. It shouldn't even be where it's at. We should be more protective of our children, our future. And don't allow them to be caught up in this fantasy of this the way to go to make some extra money, to be dressed up fancy or whatever. So for some materialistic manipulation of some tennis shoes, pocketbook, dresses, or clothes. We got to be more stronger as mothers and fathers, and brothers and sisters, and uncles and cousins. I don't know if it's an illness or whatever, but we got to heal ourselves. We got to heal ourselves, because the medicine that they be giving our people don't even really work. It ain't no psychosis for the medicine. All that stuff do is put you out, knock you out, and medicate symptoms that don't even exist. I think we need to talk to Brother Umar about that. I think that's his motives. His field of understanding, where he has knowledge of that. And even some people be trying to knock him down. We always trying to knock each other down like agent provocateurs. We got to come out of that mindset. We got to expose those type of people that's not trying to build up but trying to tear down. We got to get away from that. We got to build up holistically in this day and time. While we going through what we going through, like what they call the word gerrymandering or whatever, political term for turning your wheels, spinning your wheels on a carousel. We got to overcome that. We got to be strong and holistic in our approach to ourselves and building ourselves up as a people and uniting as a people. They be having this interface dialogue and all that, and it's still separated. Because when you go back into your corners or whatever, not your corners, into your study halls, I'll put it that way, you still have the point of they not doing this right, and they not doing this right, and then when the time come, the rapture come, they going to hell because they ain't accepted Jesus Christ and all that. There's a whole lot going on that we got to not keep going on about. What we need to go on about is unifying as a people, spiritually, tuning into ourselves, developing ourselves, purifying ourselves, becoming a model ward, becoming a model citizen, with us rising up and developing that, a model of peace, harmony, economical, academic, and spiritual, unified, and let it spread out as not as an illness, but as a healing. See, we got too many forms of illness that degrade us, that bring us down, that hold us down, that stagnate us. Let's start healing in the name of the Creator, the universal essence of us as a people, of all people. But some people have sold their soul so dynamically. That's why they want control. And they really want control of us. Because they know when it go black, it's going to be harmony and peace. And they don't want that. And they know that they're dying off naturally just because of the sunlight, the healing sunlight. Sunlight is a healing for some, most us. But for others, they can't stand it. And we're in a day and time that we got to come together. We got to do it now. I ain't going to be talking about, our problems and our social ills. But it got to be regurgitated so that because it's happening every day. It's happening every day. It's been happening for every day before these days, every month, every year. It's like for generations, we've been going through this. And as that saying goes, enough is enough. The time is now. We must seize the time. What was that? Bobby Seale said that a long time ago, or Elridge Cleaver. Those brothers that put their life on the line with food programs every day. Every day they did this. The people did this. The people that was about the people. We got to do the same thing. We can't just wait for Thanksgiving to give out turkey baskets and all that. We can't wait for holidays to practice these unholy holidays, these hollow days. We need to be practicing the righteous ways of development, of doing something every day. We got to set up food programs every day, educational tutor programs every day. We got to do it. I think we're in the progress or the mode of doing that. We just got to do it and promote it. And we can't forget about our other social ills with our young brothers on them street corners. We got to, purify ourselves. We got to reach them. We got to talk to them to let them talk to us. Or they got to talk to each other. Because they harming each other, but in harming each other, they harming other people in the community. By selling the drugs or the shooting and the stray bullets and all that. But if we purify ourselves, those people who putting all that stuff in our community will have to keep it. Sad to say, I believe it's the system. Because they done it before. They got them army men over in Afghanistan guarding the poppy plant where they make this stuff at. The FBI brought heroin in our community before. The CIA brought cocaine in our community before. And who's bringing this flakka and 2K in our community? They were selling it to Ethiopian stores or whatever, but I don't think they're doing it. They might do it, but somebody's giving it, and they're doing it for a reason. Because they want us to be in a certain way in this laboratory that they got, this open door laboratory. They want to see how it affects us. They want to be, they promote, the zombies or the living dead and all that. And they showed us the movies already and all that. So that's the next step of whatever their plan may be. They already got FEMA camps and all that. Big 10 feet castles and all that. It ain't for nothing. I even heard that they even got underground shelters. You know, I know they said the Russians are having underground shelters, getting their people prepared. What are these people doing here? Nothing for us, but the affluent, they know what they're doing, but they don't give us notice of anything. You know, if anything happened, you know when we hear about it? When them alarms go off and all that. Right when it happens. How can you do anything? How can you prevent anything right when it's happening in the midst of it? You have to make preparation for it. That's what we have to do. And I hope it don't happen. I hope that our children can grow up and be the next generation of leaders in this society that we change. We change through a non-violent revolution, as Malcolm said. A spiritual revolution, an academic revolution, an economical revolution, a loving revolution. And we come together as a people, healing ourselves, loving, overcoming the self-hate that's been injected into our minds and our psychic through the Willie Lynch syndrome. True or not, there's been enough talk of it, enough ingestion of it mentally to look at it and see what we've been through, that they did pull us apart with them horses, that they did rape our women, they did rape our men. They did all this to do what? To make us weaker in our own sight. And our women were strong. Our women are still strong. We got to pay homage to our women. We got to deal with a matriarchic society where our women, when that was in being, we had the balance. They brought into the patriotic society, and then they lied about somebody named Eve making the first sin and making Adam sin, and everybody fell down and created the serpent and all that. You got to look at that for the realness of it. Look at it and think about it. Reflect upon it. Look at that and look at our story. That our story says that the woman gave man knowledge, enlightenment. That was the fruit of knowledge that our women gave us. And they took it when they plagiarized our information off the walls of Kemet where the truth is etched in stone. And they changed it around and took the women down. And then the European man came in as the king or whatever. And that's where we've been ever since. Degrading our women because they supposed to have been the ones who created the sin, brought sin in the world. And that is a deteriorating story when the woman is the essence of life. The woman is the backbone that kept us together. Always there for us, no matter what. Our sisters. Even though we go through ups and downs and everything we go through, the woman is the essence of us moving forward. The first teacher of our children, the carrier of life. Even though we plant the seed, and we are the hunters or whatever, the protectors. Without that balance, we ain't nothing. We deal on an animalistic, predatory nature that shouldn't be. We should be living in harmony and peace, but we should be protectors. We are warriors, spiritual warriors, in the essence of the Creator. We got to bring that into our thinking and into our reality. We have to recreate a new reality, the reality that we once lived, not this distorted reality that has us going against each other, that have us in a divide and conquer situation. We got to do this spiritually, in the spiritual essence, and develop a reality that we can live in, dealing with ourselves first, purifying ourselves, and then purifying our communities. Just think about it. Just think about it for one moment. If we stop all the negative stuff, man, stop drinking, stop using drugs, stop committing crimes, and uplift each other, help each other, Just think about that. Be protective of one another. If we do that, then we'll know who's doing what in our community. We'll know the inside source and the outside source. If we don't do that, then we're going to be still in that state of stupor. We're going to be walking around with our eyes wide shut, mentally and spiritually, or because of intoxication. That's why we must purify ourselves. We got to go back to African spirituality. And again, unite. Come out of this indoctrination. Come out of this manipulation. To rise up as a people. I mean, we got to deal with the system in the sense that we going and working and doing whatever we can do. But we got to know what it's based on. We know what it's based on. We know it's just fraudulent laws and all this and hypocritical processes and secret societies and Ku Klux Klan and, all these in the high echelons of society. The lawmakers, the tax takers, the money makers. Ain't got nothing to do with supposedly government activities, because they're not even part of the government. They're private corporations that people are working for. And they got their script, like they on the stage. The stage is reality. And we all the actors. But we got to stop acting and be for real, because it ain't no game. Because people are dying. Killing themselves, self-inflicted genocide on a ride of trying to accomplish some sanity. In positions of I'm better than you and I got more than you or I got this and stuff like that. We should be uplifting each other no matter what. No matter our station in life, we got to come together in love, peace, and understanding, in the spiritual essence. What can I say? What I say every day. And I ain't going to stop. As long as I'm in this realm, in this dimension, I'm going to always mention the essence of the blessings that my ancestors gave me and the Creator that allowed me to be here to speak this truth. The truth that I know through experience, not book learned or book sense, but natural common sense. Sometimes it be all kilter or whatever, or unbalanced. But that's where it come from. It be's that because that's what I be. And I live for my people. I live to promote this essence of the divine decree that's in me based on what my ancestors left me on this pathway, a journey to uplift myself and our people. I'm just one out of 7 billion. Out of 7 billion. But I'm trying to have an effect upon those of us that I can affect through my words. My words of truth, of divine essence, of the divine energy that's in me, in my temple. And I'm a student teacher, and I know it's a lot more I need to learn in the esoteric, arcane chambers of my mind and those master teachers that I will meet on my journey or have already met to get me to this point in time. It's all from a divine perspective of, dealing with this. Because it's a silent war going on for our spirits and souls, not only our body parts and our young children in sexual rings and blood sacrifices and all that. And it's been going on for generations. It's almost like good against evil, righteous against evil. People of righteousness of a divine nature against people that don't have that. Soulless people. People that are just warmongers, but they portray they're as your friend. See, those blue eyes hypnotize because they tell you lies. I ain't talking about laymen, though. I ain't talking about the hillbillies. I'm talking about those affluent people, the 13 families, the Vatican, the black Jesuits, the popes, the presidents here in America, England, Queen of England and all them. They're in cahoots because America is a corporation of England. It's in the law books. I think it's 1871 that when that happened. And we got to realize that this ain't no game. This is a reality, that they distort our reality and they live a real reality that's our reality that we should be living in harmony and peace. See, but they think all the materialistic thing, that's life, that's living. The more you have is living. The more money you have is living. The more selfish you are is living. But that's their nature. It's not our nature. But we sign contracts to emulate them, to emulate their lifestyle, losing our lifestyle, losing our life, and having no concern about our lives. That's why the things be happening in our community. Because we are in disunity and not unity. We got to promote it. We got to promote love, peace, and understanding among ourselves and know that the community, us, we're the first line of protection on everything. We got to go in the trenches in the cesspool of life and speak the truth divinely based on evidence of our ancestors, what they left us. And the Creator left us in our DNA. The divine prescript is already in us. But we got to understand that. We got to go into ourselves, not let the outside, this universe, affect us. We need to have our innerverse affect the universe. We have to understand before we understand or overstand. And we got to develop a plan, a natural plan that's already in effect. All we have to do is step into it because it's already here. We in this realm and in this dimension. But it's about growth and development. It's an evolutionary process. That it ain't that's about this realm here, this third dimension. But we got to purify in this dimension or realm to get to the next. But while we here, we got to protect each other from demonic forces, from those that practice black magic. They took our magic and made it black magic. Black magic ain't nothing but juju and voodoo. But when we had it, we healed with it. But they make it something else. Those secret societies are the Scots Rites and the York Rites. And those from the Vatican and England and here in D.C. You ain't got to listen to me. Look it up. Google it. Whatever you do, that's how you can do things. Just Google a word and it come right up. It tells you about all these things. Or read. Read. Get talking books or reading books. Have somebody read to you the truth. You know. Because in the Bible, they want you to be submissive to those who are over you. It tells us that. We've seen it in the movies, and if you go in certain verses, it'll tell you that. I read a verse the other day. To be slaves to be obedient to their masters. Why would it say that when there's only one master, and that's the universal creator of all? We be obedient to that and rise up to the elevation to be like that, take on the personality and the characterization of the creator. That's what we did in African spirituality. And that's our reality. And with that, I want to say in love, peace, and understanding, motivate somebody, stimulate somebody, agitate somebody, make somebody, I ain't going to say make them mad today. I'm going to say make them think about it. Make them reflect. Make them look in the mirror and say, man, is that really like that? Have I been manipulated and used like that? I got to make a change. I got to go into myself. And I got to ask the Creator that's in me, allow me to become one of the divine agents in this realm, in this society, to help build in love, peace, and understanding. And let's do this together. All over the land. Let's start here first. Let's make this a model ward. In Ward 8. This is where I be at. That's where you be at. Those are here. Put these things together in love and peace. And let's support the movement of people that's trying to do that. Love y'all. Have a great day. A great creative day in the essence. Blessings and peace and love. Understanding who you are that sends from above on the pathway of our ancestors.